Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This video, I'm going to be going over the week 3 picks across the NFL. Last week, we went 12-4 in pick'em. Yeah, it's not too bad, but we also went 12-4 in against the spread. If you are interested in my against the spread picks, I release those on Twitter every Sunday morning, so take a look for that. I try to find them when the spreads are the closest to kickoff. I'm in pools where we all know the spreads come out earlier in the week, so maybe I'll pick them against those as well. If anyone leaves a comment, let me know. But guys, I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm trying a new thing here where I don't want to edit this. I don't have a whole lot of time, but I do want to get my picks out the day before so that people have a chance to see them. So yeah, I've got this new style you might have saw last week. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of copy paste. We got the first game up here. Saints versus Carolina Panthers. Panthers 0-2, and the Saints coming off a loss to the Buccaneers 2010. Winston didn't look super good in that outing. And I think the Panthers here are going to kind of get to Winston themselves. I'm a little concerned about how the Saints are going to have offense against a team. I pretty much think the Panthers defense matches up pretty well as if they're the Buccaneers, and the Saints struggled a lot, so there's not going to have trouble getting offense going, I think, in this one. The Panthers, man, they've just been kind of unlucky with that opening game against the Browns, and then losing last week against the Giants. It's a little tight, two tight, close games that they lost. I think this one, they're going to get on their feet at home here in a division rival. They're going to pick up their first win of the season. Next game up, we got the Houston Texans against Chicago Bears, and both teams, well, I guess they're not 0-2. The Texans have that tie, but the Bears don't have a loss either, actually. I don't know what I was going to say at the top there. They won that first week against San Francisco. But in this game, I am going to pick the Chicago Bears at home against the Texans. And for me, a lot of this is the quarterback difference. I think Justin Fields, even though he might not have the weapons that Mills has on the other side, I think that's going to be the biggest difference, that Texans don't really have that all-star type player. Maybe if Mills can get Cooks the ball or something like that. But Fields, he has the feet. He has potentially, this is going to be his chance to really show that he can make it happen at home against a team that they're pretty match up pretty evenly, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Could go either way really here. And when it's this close, I'm going to go to the better quarterback at home with the Chicago Bears. Next up, we got Chiefs and the Colts, and I'm going with the Chiefs. It's not really too much of a debate here, I don't think. Overall, the Chiefs are much better. They're 2-0. They're leading their division, and they're picking up against on the road here against a Colts team that has just struggled so far all season long. 0-1-1 the Colts are, and really it might say a must win for the Colts, but it's going to be a pretty much tough must win against a team like the Chiefs. Yeah, they got shut out last week against the Jaguars, and Matt Ryan, I don't think he's the answer that the Colts are searching for here. And yeah, pretty much that. Moving along, got this next game. It's probably, to me, one of the most exciting games of the week. We got the Bills coming into Miami, and this is might come as a shock. I am going to pick the Miami Dolphins. Might not come to a shock. Most people know this channel. I am overall a Dolphins fan. And in this division rival, the spread right now is 5.5, 6 points in some places for the Buffalo Bills. I think the Dolphins will cover that. I think they're going to somewhat keep it close. And at home, when they have the heat advantage, I say the heat advantage is supposed to be hot in Miami. And from history past, when teams like Buffalo come into Miami and it's this hot, doesn't always work well for them. And we all know that the Bills have quite a few injuries on the defensive side that might not be able to help when Tua has all these weapons that he can go to. I think at the very least, it's going to be a very close game. I think if we're looking at spread, the Dolphins are the way to go. And I can't pick against my Dolphins in this one. I just don't want to. Call me biased when I don't want to give them that bad mojo. Next up, we have the Vikings at home against the Lions. And honestly, this is going to be probably one of the most wild picks I picked this week, and I am going to pick the Detroit Lions to upset the Vikings on the road. The Lions are actually 6-point underdogs in this when you're looking against the spread. I just like how they have played the first two games, and I think Goff, compared to Cousins, pretty much a wash, honestly. Cousins throwing some ugly picks last week against the Eagles, And we saw the Lions match up quite well against the Eagles. They were down double digits most of the game, but they started trading points pretty well with the Eagles, and I think they'll be able to score on this Vikings team. And I think their defense is going to be able to hold strong. I think this spread is a little too big, and it's going to be hard to give Minnesota 6 points if you're looking at the spread overall. Next up, we got the Ravens and the Patriots. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. They're going to have to bounce back after that big loss. We saw them against Miami last week. Just ugly, honestly. The way they fell down the stretch, Dolphins fans like me, super pumped. But yeah, I don't think that they'll be able to lose 2 here in a row, especially to a Patriots team that hasn't really found its stride on offense. We're going to see whether Mac Jones can really get it done with the way that we saw the Ravens secondary get picked apart down the stretch of that game last week. I just don't think they're going to be able to trade points with Lamar Jackson and company. Next up, Bengals Jets. It's on the road. I'm picking the Bengals. Not a lot to say here. The Bets shocked everyone with their comeback last week against the Browns, and the Bengals took a tough loss last week. So like the Bengals are 0-2, and I guess it's not too crazy, but no 0-2 team has made the playoffs since they changed to the new format. Was this the second year, maybe the third year so it doesn't mean a whole lot. If any of the 0-2 teams, I think the Bengals have to do it, and this is where it starts. They have to pick up a win this week. No questions about it. It's like a must-win for them, in my opinion. So I think against a Jets team that's still on the up and rise, don't discount them, though. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. It's not going to be a complete shock, but yeah, that's it. Next up, we got 2 0-2 teams. We got Titans and the Raiders, and for me, I am going to lean the Titans right now. What's his name? The running back on the Raiders, Jacobs, is questionable. He was ill all week and missing some practice, and right now when I'm filming this video, I'm going to assume that he might not play, and that's going to be the difference maker, in my opinion. I know they have some nice running backs to step up, but the Titans, they're 0-2 as well. These are both 0-2 teams, and whoever loses is definitely not making the playoffs. They're both in kind of, well, I guess if anyone could come back from 0-3, it could be the Titans in that division, but the Raiders would not have a chance. Their division is way too stacked. But I am leaning Titans. I think they are looking to come back from that embarrassing loss that they suffered on Monday against the Bills, and not too much else to say than that. Next up, Eagles going to beat Washington. Don't think there's going to be much debate in this game. The Eagles have been showing their offensive skills, and their defense really showed up last week on Monday night against the Vikings. And they had a pretty big lead against Detroit in week 1 too, whereas the Commanders, they snuck out that win early in week 1 against the Jaguars, and then lost this past week. Pretty much think this is going to be how it is. The Eagles are going to start to go on a little bit of a stretch here. I think the Eagles are set up to be one of the top teams in the NFC, especially look kind of how not a lot of talk around them. Some places you saw were really high on the Eagles, and I'm one of those people that's pretty high on the Eagles, having a pretty strong season, maybe 13, 14 wins. Don't be surprised if that happens. Next up, San Diego at the Jaguars, and I am going to do another upset here. This is just wild. Alex, you're chalking drunk. I'm a little concerned about Herbert and his ribs. He's playing. He took a big shot. He got that touchdown right at the end of the game against the Chiefs. But, this is a big but, he's going to have a lot of people to deal with it. And all it's going to take is one shot to the ribs, in my opinion. That could be it, and that could spell a disaster for a Chargers team here. And the Jaguars on the road, coming off that huge win against the Colts, they have a lot of momentum. They're going to be amped to take on these Chargers team. I think on both sides of the ball, they're strong. Don't look underrated. Then on offense, they have all the weapons. They have running back, they have Kirk, who stepped up, and Lawrence is starting to show that he has the potential. There's been a lot of comparison between him and Herbert. We're going to see them play each other. I wish we saw a full healthy Herbert, but that is not going to be the case. Next up, we got the Rams and the Cardinals, and I'm going to go with the Rams here. We've seen 2 quarters of Cardinals playing okay football. Other than that, they've been pretty disastrous. We saw a pretty bad ending for the Rams in the Falcons game, where they pretty much blew a huge lead and had an actual chance to lose after that Cooper Kupp fumble, but they managed to pull it out, and I think they're going to keep on rolling here and bounce back in a big division win, and hopefully, I guess this would probably put them in the division lead with a win here. Cardinals, what a comeback last week. They were down and out against the Raiders, and just a shocking comeback. So I think when we're looking at a spread here, I wouldn't be surprised if Cardinals keep this super close. They can win. Division games, anything can happen, but I'm going Rams. And bringing us to the next game, we got 2 teams that are pretty scrubby in the most part. I'm going to go with the Falcons here. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Falcons, I like their offense a lot better. Seahawks, questionable. I don't know how they won that first week. Oh, well, I do know how. Denver fumbles a lot on the 1 yard line. But I think overall, Falcons are the better team. I just don't like the Seahawks whatsoever as a team to pick. In most matchups, it would be hard to find a team I like them against right now. So that's pretty much the case. Next up, Green Bay, Tampa Bay. I'm going to go leaning Green Bay here. It's going to be a tight game. And I think overall, Brady's going to have a lot of question marks on the wide receiver front, whether people are going to step up. Evans suspended, Godwin questionable. What's his name? Someone else questionable. It's definitely going to be a shallow there. Chance for Green Bay's defense to eat, whether they can do it or not. And I almost call him Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers going to get his shot here against the Bucs. A little bit of revenge mode here, and I expect him to come out. He's been good since that week 1, and week 1 seems to be his disaster lately. But that's pretty much it. Next up, I'm going with the Denver Broncos against the San Francisco 49ers. This one is tight. Could go either way, honestly. I'm going with the home team here. A little bit of a Denver advantage in the Mile High. I like the fact that they won last week. Mind you, they've been playing rough. The coach came out and said that he's just been terrible managing the clock, managing and all that. He's been pretty bad. It's been pretty bad. But I think this is a chance for Russell Wilson to step up and show that he is going to be the new leader on this team. He's going to carry this team. And it's against a tough opponent. They have Garoppolo, coming in for Trey Lance. He came in with a solid win. He's looking all right. Yeah, they haven't. This is not the team that they had designed for with Jimmy coming in. Of course, he's been a large part of this team for a long time. This one could go either way. This is a very, very likely one I'm going to get wrong. But I'm going out there on a limb. And on the last one of the week, I'm going to call the Giants going 3-0 on the year. If you asked me on the week 1 if I'd be saying that, I'd be calling you drunk. But that seems to be the case. Giants going to be I guess it's not an upset. They're favored. But they're going to be beating Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. It's going to be low scoring. Probably a pretty crappy game. I think the over-under is at 39 points right now. Something super low. But I think the Giants just have it, and I'm a little concerned whether Dallas can get any offense against this Giants defense. Of course, Giants haven't really gone up against someone like Parsons yet, who's going to make it hell for Daniel Jones. And we all know Daniel Jones likes to get sacked, fumble the ball. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be low scoring, probably boring in that aspect, but defensive, if you like defensive matchups, that's going to be the one for you. But guys, there's my week 3 picks for you. Just throwing it out there. Try to be quick. Try to jump through it. If you have any questions, just drop comments below. I quickly answer those all throughout the day. And if you're looking for my Against the Spread picks, I'll be tweeting those out tomorrow morning. So follow me on Twitter. That'll also be below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you for that next video.